Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So tonight I've actually got a little treat for you guys. I've been having a craving. No, I'm not pregnant, so don't worry about that, guys. I will let you know if for some weird chance of biology I end up pregnant, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger. But moving on from there, I grew up around a mom that knew Southern cooking. I am from West Virginia after all. Now, one thing she always made me that I absolutely loved and can't eat by her own making anymore is macaroni salad. Now, that was always a staple at all the major holidays with the family. I could always count on my mom having a macaroni salad ready for me to eat anytime I showed up to the family. Now, with her having passed a year ago almost, I don't get macaroni salad from her anymore. But the good news is, several years ago, she did teach me how to make it. It's not an overly hard dish to make, and honestly, for anybody who has a homestead, who's got chickens, who's growing their own food, it is something that can be produced relatively easily off of your own garden. The only thing that you really need is elbow macaroni, unless you know how to make that yourself, at which point, hey, you're self-sustainable. So I figured I'd bring you guys along with me tonight while I get it prepped up. So we have our ingredients sitting here in front of us. So for anybody who hasn't made a macaroni salad before, you're going to need a pound of elbow macaroni. You're going to need one yellow or white onion, and it largely depends on your taste. I haven't really noticed a major difference in how it comes out. You will need one can of sweet pickles. Brand does not matter. You will need yellow mustard. I prefer French's. And a jar of mayonnaise. You will also need, and it's based on your preferences, between 4 and 12 hard-boiled eggs. Now, I've gone ahead and already hard-boiled my eggs just so that I would have them off to the side. I've also got a coffee cup. You'll see how that comes into play here in a minute. And then the final ingredient is a Mountain Dew. Now, this Mountain Dew doesn't actually go in the recipe. I just like to drink Mountain Dew. So now that I've got the green goodness in my system, let's go ahead and get rolling on this. What I like to do first is cut up my pickles and go ahead and mix them in. I won't use a full jar of these pickles just because I'm not a big fan of sweet pickles, but you'll see in a moment what I'm talking about. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut my sweet pickle up into some relatively small chunks. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting the pickle up into small chunks. Almost cut my finger there. Now how you go about cutting up your pickle is not a huge deal. You can do it however you like. I'm just doing it the way my mama taught me, but slightly less safe, I guess. Now I do like to vary my chunk sizes a little bit, just add a little bit of extra texture to it. But again, you can do what you please. And if you haven't noticed, I'm absolutely horrible at cutting things up, especially at this size. Now that I have my pickles cut up, I'm going to take these, push them right down into the macaroni. I might have used a little more than I should have, but you know what, it's okay. So now that I've got those in there, I can put this back off to the side. So I'm going to peel this onion. Now you can use either one full onion or a half an onion, it's your personal preference. I'm only going to use half because I'm not a fan of onions. Now instead of using my paring knife, I'm going to use one of my bigger knives, just because I do have a history of cutting myself when cutting up an onion. Now note to anybody who's never cut up an onion, these do make you cry. So whatever you do, do not touch your face until after you've washed your hands for the cut up. Actually, that's a small onion. I might use the whole one. I haven't decided yet. Okay, I've got my eggs all peeled up. And so now all I got to do is cut them up. Into the macaroni salad. So we now have the macaroni, the egg, the pickles. all mixed in here. But what you do, take a jar of mayo, and you take a thick mustard, and you put them in a cup. And then you mix them up. And the balance is always going to vary based on who you are. Like, I'm not going to say use X amount of this or X amount of that, because honestly it won't work. Now we mix it up. So once we're done mixing, what we do is we get ourselves just a plastic container. And then an extra touch to keep it from getting dry, just mix in a little bit of sweet pickle juice. Not much, because you don't want to overpower the taste of everything that's already in it. Now we just fill it up. Alright guys, that was my macaroni salad. Now do note that I am using an extra large plastic container from Kroger's. You can get it for like $2 for a pair. Now you want to throw this in the refrigerator because it does have perishable items in it. It is edible as it is right now. It's just warm at room temperature, and so it doesn't taste super great. What you want to do is you want to throw a macaroni salad in your fridge for 4 to 6 hours. I'll probably leave it in overnight and then break into it tomorrow. And this is enough. It's a little more than what I usually make, but I wanted to make a full batch just to be safe because I haven't had it in a while. But this right here will probably last me about a week, depending on what my taste for it is. It is the same recipe that my mom used to make. Now, an added thing you can put in it is you can take some of the hard-boiled eggs that you would have cut up and put in it, and you can slice them up and lay them over top, throw some paprika on them, and it works just fine. But it's optional, it's not necessary at all. So, anywho guys, that's how we make at least my version of a macaroni salad. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe, maybe leave a comment down on what some of your favorite country recipes are, or if you even consider this a country recipe. In the meantime guys, thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you later.